Welcome back to Passionately Catholic. We are in the process of wrestling through a series of videos in which we take a look at God's existence. Does God really exist? And we're just starting to dive into some really more meat, concrete evidence for God's existence. Now, one of the arguments for God that I really enjoy is called the argument from first cause. Okay, and basically it plays out like this. Imagine that everything that exists is kind of like dominoes. Okay, and I don't mean dominoes like the way you're supposed to play it. I mean dominoes the way I like to play it, where you stack them all up and then you knock them down. Okay? So imagine everything is like dominoes, where everything that exists is an effect. It's a result of a previous cause, okay? That everything that happens is an event, okay, and that, or what have you, and that causes something else to happen. So you got cause, effect, 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 okay? Series of cause and effect. First cause would say that when you look back in time, okay, when you go back, that there has to be a first cause that gets everything going. Now, in the ancient world, many people thought that the universe was eternal, that it has always been there, that there's no need for a first cause, okay? And then you get this crazy piece of this book, this creation story from this Genesis, right? From ancient Israelites, okay? From the ancient Jews, which talks about like that God creates the heavens and the earth, like there's nothing and God create. Well, what the heck? That was a foreign idea to the ancient world. But in the Western world, we tend to take it pretty well for granted because a lot of the Western world's has roots in Christianity, okay? In this Judeo-Christian concept of Genesis, that there's a beginning to the universe, okay? Now, even during the era of the Enlightenment, centuries ago, this idea that there was not a creation, that the universe is eternal, really became popular, okay, again, until you get into the 19th century, and then evidence starts to mount for this scientific idea called Big Bang. This idea that 13.7, 13.8 billion years ago, that our universe had a beginning with the Big Bang. Now, when I say the universe, let's be clear about what we're talking about. So we live on Earth. We are within the solar system. So we have the sun, and all the planets of our solar system, including Earth, go around our sun. Okay, that is our solar system. As you go beyond our solar system, you get into what's called the Milky Way galaxy, where you can even see it when you look up at night. If you're out in a rural area like in Iowa, where I'm at, where there's not a lot of light pollution, okay, you can look up at the night sky and you can actually see a band in the night sky where there's a lot more light, there's a lot more stuff, and it's darker. There's still stars and everything, but it's darker in other areas. That's the band of the Milky Way galaxy that we're a part of. Now, the Milky Way galaxy has hundreds of billions of stars, okay? And our sun is just one of those hundreds of billions of stars. Now, beyond that, beyond our galaxy, the Milky Way, is many other galaxies. Those other galaxies having hundreds of billions of stars in them. Now, how many other galaxies are out there? The estimates are hundreds of billions of other galaxies out there. Okay, so we are talking about a mind-blowingly huge universe. When we say the universe, we mean everything we know that exists. Every physical thing that we know exists. Okay, all other galaxies, all other stars, all other planets, all of it. Okay, that's the universe. Okay, so Father George Lemaitre was a founder of the Big Bang theory. He was a Belgian physicist and priest. He was a Catholic priest. Okay, this guy celebrated Mass every day, for crying out loud. He was an originator of the Big Bang theory, that our universe is actually expanding. Okay, galaxies are moving apart, that there was a beginning to this, and that the beginning of the universe was 13.7. Now our estimates are 13.7, 13.8 billion years ago. Okay, so the universe is not eternal. Now, this brought new life, okay, in the early 1900s when Big Bang got proposed, and has continued to hold weight as a scientific idea that the universe actually started. This brings back the argument from first cause, that people are like, okay, well, maybe the universe isn't eternal. Maybe it had a beginning. If the universe has a beginning, okay, if it got started, then you have to have a first cause. Now you've got to ask the question, what do you need? Like, imagine, we're hiring somebody for a job, okay, and we're looking for job qualifications. If you're going to be the first cause, if you're going to get hired to be the first cause, what criteria do you have to meet? Okay, well, if you're going to create a universe, you're going to have to be really, really powerful. Like, I don't know if you have to be all powerful. I don't need to know if you have to be omnipotent, be able to do, have all power, do anything, but you got to have a lot of power, okay, to bring the universe into existence. So that's one. Here's where we get into some other fun criteria is we also know that space, okay, matter, okay, matter, space is the distance between matter, okay, that matter came into existence with the Big Bang, okay, the matter, boom, okay, you have matter. Okay, it's a creation of matter. So for something to be the first cause, it is beyond matter. Okay, it's beyond matter and space. And we know from Einstein that space and time are actually the same thing. They're linked, and he called it space-time. It was very creative. It's brilliant, right? Okay, so you have space-time. So for the first cause, to start all of this stuff, it's actually starting matter, and it's starting space, and it's starting time. So it has to be beyond, outside of matter and space and time. Okay, so what do you have to be? You have to be like super, super powerful, our first cause does, and it has to be non-material, not matter. So what do we call that? Like a spirit, okay? So it has to be a pure spirit, non-matter, and it has to be super powerful, and it has to be beyond time. What do we call that? Like eternal, okay, so it has to be eternal, okay, it's not tied to time at all, it's always been here and always will be here, okay, not tied to matter, it's a pure spirit, and super, super powerful. What meets the job description of the first cause? Well, God, okay, God would meet that. Now, this doesn't prove the Christian God or the Catholic God, by any means, okay, it just means a super powerful being, okay, who's outside of matter and space and time, and has a lot of power to bring a universe into existence out of nothing physical, actually can do this, does this, did this, okay? So this is one of my preferred arguments for God to get this ball rolling anyway. We'll get into more pieces of evidence. But one of the things I also like about it is I love science, and we had this whole series of videos previously about how science and religion and theology as Catholics, how they come together as Catholics. They're not opposed to each other, that God is the source of everything, okay, and that includes all of the evidence that we get from science, so that science and our faith can't conflict. And when they apparently do, when they appear to, that it's really us that the problem is with. Okay, so we're going to continue with our evidence for God's existence, look at more arguments. If you like this video, be sure to like it. If you haven't subscribed to Passionately Catholic yet, go ahead and click that subscribe button and that bell icon so that YouTube notifies you every time we post a new video and so that you don't miss anything. Also, big thank you always goes out to our patrons, especially on Patreon, who make everything we do here at Passionately Catholic possible. God bless you, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon.